Well, hello, hello. If it is Wednesday, you are here with your girl Soso on the Sohria Alexander Show. How is everybody today? How is everybody tonight? How y'all doing? Hello to my radio listeners, Liberty 92.3 FM. How you guys doing? In Radio Land. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm hearing you guys are enjoying my show. At the bars, in the restaurants, at home, in the offices, different places where you work nighttime. Thank you for joining Sohria Alexander on the show. I sincerely appreciate all my radio listeners on Liberty 92.3 FM. And that's the idea of the show. There are times when I will come and it is, strictly to educate you as to the things you may not be too sure about. And I understood that many people, I got many compliments about the show on Monday. Many people messaged to say thank you so for explaining the legislation so brilliantly. Yes, as I said, I'm here with no agenda. I'm just here being me and bringing, the truth to you, and you in turn can make better decisions. So thank you to all my listeners on Liberty 92.3 FM, and we will soon be on television very soon. We will be on television very soon, and I'm very happy about that. Let me shout at my boy Greg Eugene. How you doing, Greg? And it's gonna be great programming, and we are here to be of service to the people of St. Lucia. And I'm not forgetting my lovely Facebookers and my YouTubers. I saw the comments of many of you who watched the show on Monday, and your comments were so encouraging. Thank you. It is the way to go. Also, I have to say thank you for the many coffees. I do appreciate it. And also, on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, I've also turned on my star features. So, I recently turned it on, so you can buy stars if you want to support Soso, or you can buy coffees, whatever you choose, whichever way you intend to support me. I am very happy about that, because as I said, I come here with no agenda. I'm here just to bring the truth to you. So it's always wonderful being in your presence, talking to you, because I want to feel that I am making a difference. I'm making a contribution into someone's life. And you may not believe that if it is only one person's life I touch to change, I have won. But I know I touch the lives of many. And it is a pleasure for me being here with you. And one thing I want to tell my people in life, laugh. I am somebody, let me tell you, for those, many people may not know that, but for those who know me, I like to crack up. I like to laugh. And when you see I'm in my laughing mood and my playful mood, you can't get me to stop, because, so many things going on in our country. People, please, I'm asking you, do not forget to laugh. I know we have bills to pay. I know we have so many things, pressing issues like crime, high gas prices, food, and the works. But let me encourage you to laugh, to smile, because life is short. And I'm going to put a little flyer online for you to have a look. And to my radio listeners, you can listen. And also to my radio listeners, if you may have missed the show, you could always go to my page, Sohria Alexander. Or you could, my name is spelled Sohria, and Alexander, Alexander. Excuse me, my people. If you have missed any of my show, Radio Land, You could just type my name in Google, Sohria Alexander. It will send you to my website. On my website, you will see who I am. You're going to see all my shows and my articles, whatever I have there. So don't feel bad, Radio Land, if you miss one of my shows, or just go to my website. Okay, SohriaAlexander.com. Boom, and you're going to get her. Now, life is short. Cut out negativity. Forget gossip. Say goodbye to people who don't care. Spend time with people who are always there. Now, I'm going to read it again. Life is short. Cut out negativity. Forget gossip and say goodbye to people who don't care. Spend time with people who are always there. And in life, what we find is that sometimes you will go, or not sometimes, most times you're going to go through your struggles. And while going through your struggles, you will see who were your friends and who were not your friends. Now, this life is very finicky. It is very strange. And when you start progressing, the same people who left you to die or for dead, excuse me, the same people who left you for dead now want to be in your company. Say no to them. Stay with the people. Keep those people who stayed with you when you only had water to drink and a piece of dry bread. Stay with those people. They will never leave you and they will never betray you. Now, in saying that, while you are going through your struggle, that doesn't mean that friend will not give you sound advice, counsel you, and not agree with everything you may do or say, but that friend is going to be there. And we need to develop this positive thinking, right? This positive behavior. We need to ensure that we surround ourselves with people who can uplift us. And I've said that many times. Many times. You have to think of you. Think about you, where you want to take your life to, where you want to go to. Life is short. One, you may say, I have until the end of the year. You may not. We never know when our number is going to be called. This is why we must take responsibility now for our actions and our decisions. So let us be positive. And one thing I want to encourage my viewers and my listeners to do, one thing I want to encourage you to do is to think positive every day. I'm always being asked why I don't worry. Worrying is of the devil. I'm going to say it again. Worrying is of the devil. Why should I worry? Can I change anything if I worry? Hell no, I can't. So try to be positive in your thinking. And what I am going to talk to you about tonight, I know that many people are going through various struggles, and I will do that after we take our coffee break, and I will be right back.
If it were a perfect world, I would never leave my seat. My fingers would do the clicking. My card would do the paying. And if it were a perfect world, my items would be sent hassle-free from this location to me via air or sea. And if it were a perfect world, in this one building would be warehousing, stress-free customs clearance facilities, and island-wide delivery. Fortunately, the world is that perfect. Because I've chosen West Indies Shipping, the leaders in imports, exports, clearance, and deliveries for over 20 years. Call them West Indies Shipping. Telephone 459-0444.
And we are back. Remember to check out West Indies Shipping. Excellent delivery, excellent service. And so don't boast companies like that. I can boast this one. Excellent, excellent service, I'm telling you. Now, my people, let us wrap tonight. Things are hard throughout the globe. However, we live in St. Lucia and we know how things have gotten extremely expensive due to inflation. And I think that some of us who may be able to maybe go to the supermarket, even if we quarrel, we may still be able to get our stuff, still pay our bills. There are many people who are still suffering post-COVID. This is not a joke, I am telling you. I am not a bank. I am not a millionaire. But for the number of people who message me saying to me, I need a job so. I'm in financial need. I need groceries. I need something. I need a job. I want to be able to contribute to my family. But the opportunities are not there. Now, my discourse tonight will center around pantries, and I'll tell you why. The basic needs that most people need right now is food and shelter, survival of the fittest. Let me tell you, I wouldn't say I never realized, but I know that it is real. The financial pressures that many of us are facing. Some may hide it nicely and others may not. But we have people in St. Lucia, and I'll be very honest with you, that I got a call from someone, and this person is saying, all I need is a job. And at my age, as a senior citizen at my age, the person said to me, so if I was not strong, I would have committed suicide. I spoke to that person. I encouraged that person. I continue checking on that person. That person got some assistance with some stuff to carry them over. But while I and other people may do that, we too have our commitments. We too have our own struggles that we are going through, but we still help. This is where I believe that the authorities, the government of St. Lucia, really need to focus, because bread, freedom, bread, justice for all. And right now, many people are left without bread. And, you know, it was very encouraging to hear my son say to me, Mommy, I left some money by the lady up there and said to her when XYZ come, ensure he gets something to eat. And then he is saying to me today, Mommy, I'm going to try to leave some money there, so at least anybody who doesn't have something to eat, they can go there. We need to do this on a bigger scale, because let me tell you something. Many people within the various constituencies, many of them have nothing to eat. And when I called these elderly citizens just to check on again, the individual said to me, I am so depressed. I am so depressed. When you see that you cannot feed yourself, This is a big issue, and that is where crime starts. I personally, like I said, I do not care if the millions goes to feeding our people so that we can abate crime. I believe every constituency should have a central point. Now, some of the constituencies are very big. So you would have to have various points where you have a pantry where people can go in there freely. Now, let me tell you something. I'm speaking reality to you. There is no middle class again, nah? The middle class drop down. Middle class just not crying and complaining, but they too need to go to those pantries. But let me tell you something, because we live in a very close-minded and small country, people would be ashamed going to a pantry if it's established to get supplies. You should not be ashamed that if you do not have, because if I do not have, I will not starve, my children will not starve, I will go to the pantry and take and step with style. Pride goeth before a fall. So we need to sensitize people, whoever controls those pantries in various constituencies or communities, that you behave professionally. You do not come and say, hey, Mary Jane, she have nothing to give her children. She living in big house, big job. Sometimes they living in big house, big job, and they ain't have, The pandemic has stifled many people financially. So I believe that the powers that be, they need to start looking into the various constituencies. Because within mine, I see a lot of things that need to be done. I was approached to be part of a movement in my constituency, and like I said, I'm on board. I'll be happy to assist. I'll be happy to do whatever. And that is just the beginning of we doing what we have to do. We have to do what we have to do, but funding must be available. Funding must be available to take care of the people within the constituency. And I know we have, I think they call it the caregiving program or whoever. I think they will advertise it. I just forget the correct name. And they go and they assess people's needs, what they need. Let me tell you something. That is good. But what we also need is an established pantry. You have people manning those pantries. They are trained within the various communities, and people can feel free to say, okay, I have nothing to eat tonight or to give my children or my family or myself, that I can go in there and get something. This is not the first time I'm preaching this. Maybe it's the first time for you, but I've said that on my previous shows. And a hungry man is an angry man. A hungry man is an angry man. Now, many people, even me, when I go to the supermarket, I have to ask, like, I'm paying all that money and coming back home with absolutely nothing. Can you imagine the people who don't have anything to eat? Let us continue to be sensitive. While I am giving the authorities advice about pantries, and I have to commend Gaspar, who tries to feed many people as he can, but I am taking this to another level, that we erect pantries in various communities. If your people are fed, they are going to have healthy brains, and they will be able to go out there, look for work, and become productive citizens. If they have nothing to eat, they are going to go out there and steal from other people, increasing our crime rate. We have to be cognizant of the fact that food, shelter, and clothing is paramount in the development of our people. I am going to show you a video, Community Food Pantry. It is important because there are people with pride. As I said to you, pride goeth before a fall. Because if there's a pantry and I ain't got food, I'll go there. But many people, and I cannot blame them for having pride going into a pantry because of the mentality of our people and how they behave and how they gossip, how they like to talk about people. But I will show you about a community food pantry.
The Greater Boston Project is an interdisciplinary elective course for seniors at Needham High School that encourages students to use their English, social studies, and math skills to create change in their community. The semester-long course ends with groups of students completing a community action project. This year, one group addressed the issue of food insecurity in Needham by setting up a community pantry. The pantry is now open and is located outside of Luando's Cleaners at 53 Chapel Street. Here's more on the project.
The community pantry is basically an act of mutual aid between citizens in the community. It's a place where anyone can come take anything they need. As it says here, take what you need, leave what you can. Anyone who needs food can come by and take what they need.
The beauty of the community pantry is that it's open to anyone. So literally, if you're passing by, obviously there's a train station, there's a bus stop. Anyone who walks by and thinks they might need something, obviously we're targeting those who might be a little more like food insecure or might need some household items that they can't afford. It's really open to anyone. There's no process. I know sometimes for aid programs you have to qualify or you have to prove that you're in need, but there's nothing like that with this. You can just come and take whatever you may need.
What I think makes this pantry special is that the act of mutual aid versus the act of charity. So this is really just citizens coming together to battle this huge issue in our world right now of food insecurity and lack of accessibility to healthy foods in particular.
We did a ton of research at the beginning of our project. That was kind of the first step because I think people think of Needham as a very fortunate town and they might not think of food insecurity as a big issue here, but it actually is.
The foods that we accept are all obviously non-perishables because we don't have a refrigerated area. Frequently needed items include peanut butter, pastas, rice, canned vegetables, soups, water. Also, we accept feminine hygiene products, as well as other household items like toilet paper, toothbrushes.
We're hoping that once the message gets out a little more, people really start using it and it makes a difference and maybe even inspires other efforts like it.
So basically, I have just shown you high school students undertaking a food pantry, a community project. And I believe that we as citizens within a community can start a project like this. And the only thing, and we were discussing this with the person who asked me to help with a project in the community, we were discussing that we need a central point where we can meet. In my community, if we had a community center, all the goods or food items we would collect would be stored at the community center. We have been begging for that community center for as long as I live here, 20-something, going on 30 years. We've been begging for it. So this is something that every community can do. Now, I am also going to bring up that idea to the people within my community who asked me to assist with the project. I am asking people within the sound of my voice that start something like this. I am saying, yes, the government needs to do something official, but let us start something. If you have a community center that is well secured, burglar bars, and you can store things there, that can be a point a central point where people may need stuff and they can come. Okay? We may not be able to have somebody manning the place 24/7, but at least we can have hours, opening hours where people can come and get something to eat. We have reached a point in St. Lucia. We have reached a point in St. Lucia where we as citizens have to do something. And you realize what the high school students did. It's at a central point. You just come, you take whatever you need. And if you don't need, you leave. So you find that somebody who is in need would always get something to eat. We have to start thinking community. Post-COVID, I don't think we'll ever be the same. COVID changed our lives drastically. Excuse me. COVID changed our lives drastically. You have to think differently pre-COVID. Right now, post-COVID, you got to think differently. And what are we going to do? And I am not saying that the government must just sit back and not do anything. They have to take part in those activities. So we have a lot of community leaders and whatever, but right now we need to shift our focus. We need to shift our focus in terms of many people are hungry. And it's not only the young, not only the middle-aged, the elderly, also they are hungry. And when you look at St. Lucia is a poor society. Yeah, some people may drive the Audi, the BMW, blah, blah, blah. You will see the 1% at the top living large, but the majority of St. Lucians are struggling. Inflation is through the roof. Food prices are ridiculous because there is a juice I like, right? It's, oh my God, look, I'm forgetting. It's like a grape blend. It's very nice. I love this juice because as a child growing up, when we came from church, my mother always gave us this lovely grape juice, rich and nice. So I like this juice. When I started buying this juice, it was like $6. Then I went to the supermarket, $9.99. Then I went there last Saturday and I'm seeing this thing almost $11. Now, many people want to say, oh, prices have increased all around the world. We are not disputing that. But many of the big countries, they have pantries where people can go in there and get something to eat. Your neighbor may be by you, and that neighbor is hungry. You may see people walking on the road smiling, and they're hungry. Food insecurity can kill a nation. We need to get up and and people, let's get back. I never knew St. Lucians not being caring and we only want to fight about, the politicians. Let us fight for each other. These are the things, and the community leaders, as I was previously saying, should have realized that times have changed and people need to eat. People need food, shelter, and clothing. The government may not be able to give them $1,000 every month, but if they have a place where they can go to get something to eat, their bodies would be fueled so they are able to get up next day to go look for work. And we break the cycle, they get a job, and then we go to help the next person. Now, I would love to show you another video, but before I do that, I will take another coffee break and I will be right back with you.
If it were a perfect world, I would never leave my seat. My fingers would do the clicking. My card would do the paying. And if it were a perfect world, my items would be sent hassle-free from this location to me via air or sea. And if it were a perfect world, in this one building would be warehousing, stress-free customs clearance facilities, and island-wide delivery. Fortunately, the world is that perfect because I've chosen West Indies Shipping, the leaders in imports, exports, clearance, and deliveries for over 20 years. Call them West Indies Shipping, telephone 459-0444.
And we are back. And if you'd like to sponsor the show, this is a wonderful show. If you would like to sponsor it as a corporate sponsor, as a local person, feel free to contact me. Sohria Alexander. I'm on Facebook. You just put my name, you'll get my website, Sohria Alexander, Alexandr. You'll get everything about Sohria. As long as you put Sohria, you're going to get everything linked to me. So, my people, as I said previously, in those big countries, you find that families may have a food pantry to go to get stuff. You'd find churches. And I know that there are various churches that give stuff maybe once a week or whatever, but I'm not talking about once a week. I'm talking about having a pantry where people can go to get something to eat, to bring back to their homes. So I am going to show you, and to my radio listeners, you'll listen, a family turns to a food pantry amid inflation.
Well, inflation is impacting families everywhere, and it's estimated that about 500,000 people here in Connecticut are struggling with hunger right now. Channel 3's Stephanie Simone caught up with a family who's trying some new ways to cope with the rising prices of basic necessities.
Food is a basic need.
It's been tough, very, very tough.
But for Lori Martin, she needs to feed others. It's what she loves to do. In fact, she spent 30 years working in the cafeteria of a Simsbury elementary school.
I got to feed them every day, I enjoyed them, and it was great. I like to feed people. I had my own 4 kids. I love to feed them. I just like to feed people.
So you can imagine how tough it became when she retired, her husband lost his job, and inflation caused grocery prices to skyrocket.
And it's tough because I don't have a full paycheck no more.
Your paycheck gets cut. And so we were having a difficult time, paying the bills and buying groceries.
That's what brought them here to Granby's Hope for Life food pantry at Life Church, New England.
The first thing they'll do is go down to the end here and grab a shopping cart.
Pastor Al Royale gave us a tour.
And people just can't make ends meet. You add that to the cost of oil, electricity, clothing, whatever, any food that they can get here, that frees up their dollars to do something else in their home.
The Martins never relied on a food bank before, but their daughter saw them struggling as she once did.
I felt horrible constantly having to ask my family and my friends for food all the time. And it just got to be where I needed help. I really needed food for my kids.
That's why they are grateful for these shelves and Connecticut Food Share, which helps to keep them stocked. But the nonprofit is not immune to inflation and supply chain issues.
Inflation has impacted us in regards to our inventory, the amount of product that we get that is available to our partner programs.
Last month, they had to take $500,000 out of reserves to cover food purchases for the end of the year to help programs like this one in Granby.
It just was overwhelming. I couldn't, the feeling of care and trying to help you out and, just doing things for you.
Laurie is so appreciative, she's giving back by doing what she loves to do, feeding others and volunteering at the pantry.
And come in and help other people and pay back, what people have done for me. People have been so good to me through my life.
Now, You heard what the lady said. She has been working in a cafeteria for 30 years, feeding other people. Then her husband, lost his job or got a pay cut, and then they too have to fend for themselves. Pay bills, half paychecks, asking family and friends for food. They too have struggles. Families and friends do have struggle. Inflation has also affected the pantries. Now, I just want to draw the contrast between them and our people. We lose our jobs or half pay cut. We cannot really pay the bills. We cannot really eat. What happens to us? What really happens to us? What really happens to us? We have no other place to go, but they do. And this is the contrast I want to make. And this is why I'm saying, people, we have to look at the needs of people. We have to look at what they really need. Because they had another option, the pantry. But somebody, if they do not have good parents or good friends to help them in this situation, what happens? They stay home. They feel depressed, like the elderly citizen who called me. They feel depressed. They feel like committing suicide. Or they go out there and rob people, commit crime. So this is why I am saying having pantries in this country is very important. And I know there's a lot of fuss. Oh, we're feeding this one, we're feeding that one. I will start clapping my hands when I see within various communities, as I said, in the constituency where I live, excuse me, in the constituency where I live, it's very big. Very big. Therefore, you cannot say you're going to put, there is a nice central location that if we're going to put a pantry and people can get there, cul-de-sac would be a beautiful location where people can come. But that is for one part for where I live, and then you'd have to put another pantry in another central location so people further would be able to access the pantries. These are the issues we need to be discussing. Let us stop discussing personalities. Excuse me, people, I don't know why I'm coughing tonight. I'm not getting the cold. It's just the weather. These are the critical issues that we should be discussing. And getting involved in the community, doing things. And let us do things with a good heart. If you're going to be involved in a project or be involved in something, do not look for praise. Do not look for, oh my God, I helped so much. I'm the kind of person, let me tell you, I ain't looking for no praise from anybody for anything I do. I think I'm accomplished within myself enough to know who I am. And, getting praise and say, oh, Miss Alexander did this, Miss Alexander did that. No, I ain't want that. I ain't need that. I don't want that. What I want is to know that I am a blessing to somebody in coming up with ideas and seeing those ideas go forward in helping other people. Because as I've always said, we do not know where we are going to end up in life. Life is very strange. Because many of us did not know that COVID would have taken us by storm in 2020, and we're still trying to recover. Many of us. Many of us are still trying to recover. All right? So we have to be in a place where we realize that it is not the same. We have to start thinking differently and start doing things in the interests of the well-being of our fellow brothers and sisters within our community. And I know many young people, not only my son, I know many young people, they are very caring and they have brilliant ideas like this. But I would also like to caution those who may be older than them, like myself, that we guide them and don't overshadow them and don't want to take the praise. Let the young people be. They are very brilliant, 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 brilliant. And I'll just give you a little example, like my son is doing his certification in information technology. And me having my show and me doing certain things online, he tells me best practices, what to do, mommy, and what not to do. I study in IT. Yeah, I have a brain for IT, yeah. But I study in IT. He is studying IT and a lot of things. And I had to say to him tonight, I say, Akim, thanks, for telling me this and that, because it makes life so much better. It helps you protect your intellectual assets and your different things. You learn from them. Let us not want to steal the young people's thunder, because like some people believe that they must be in the forefront. Like I said to my son, you'll have to start doing the show, It's young people time, you'll have to start doing the show. You say, mommy, you do your show. Let us not try to steal their thunder. Let us allow them to shine. So when they come with their ideas within the community, even if you may be chairwoman, chair this, whatever, leader, team leader, some of these young people are so brilliant, brilliant more than us. And let me show you or tell you what is power. Power is being able to step aside, step back, take a young person's idea, guide them, and allow them to shine. And you ain't want no praise. But I realize there's a culture in this country. Some people just don't get it, that it is time for some of our young, brilliant people to shine. They want to lead everything. And I'm just putting a challenge out there. Get some young people like my son, because I know there are many brilliant ones out there. They just don't say anything. They're not on Facebook, blah, 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 blah. They're just there doing their things. Get those young people involved in the various community groups, and you're going to see how far it's going to go. Because some of the older folks are set in their ways. Is their way or the highway? No. And I've said that to you many times. When I started my show, my son is the one who told me exactly what to do. Young people are brilliant. I like them because they make me look good. Young people are brilliant. And I find I know, in order for us to move forward, I'm not saying that we do not need the mature guidance and wisdom for the young people. Get me right, I know y'all already. I'm not saying that. But we need to allow the young people to come forward with their plans. And I know many young people are seeing the problems that are within their community, right? And we need to ensure that we have vibrant communities. Imagine you have people within your community. Oh boy, I am the parliamentary rep for a community with over 10,000 people. What does that mean? Nothing. It means you need to touch the life of people. You never know. And this is why I keep saying that a parliamentary rep cannot do it on his own. He needs some vibrant young people. And we need food pantries. Too many people are suffering. Too many people are hurting. Some elderly folks need the Depends. They need washing stuff, detergent. And these things should not be done by individual people on Facebook just saying, I'm doing a gopher and I need this, I need that. It should be done from a strategic point, from a community or a constituency level. And it really pains me. It really pains me to know that people have nothing to eat. Yeah, we will help them, but we can only do so much. So when we as a community pull our resources together and organize things properly, at least we can make a few lives better. Again, funding is important, and I know that there are many organizations overseas who give fundings for those kind of projects. And this is why I always say, as a member of parliament, the people are more important. The people are more important than the job or the position or the portfolio you hold. Because the people will be the ones to determine whether you take care of them. We need to do something in this regard. We cannot allow people to suffer. And I had to speak about it. Many people are suffering, many people. And you speak to people also, so I need this. People are messaging me. I don't have jobs to give people. I'm not a millionaire. But people are suffering. I try to refer them to different places, and sometimes or most times they come up empty-handed. So I can lend my voice through my program to encourage people to take a stand within your community. And if you take, and this is what we have to do, let us take a stand, come up with good ideas, and get the backing of whoever represents us in our community to make life better for those people. It is very, very important. And I hope I'm touching your heart. I hope I'm speaking to you, because I know people sometimes, they do not like these kind of shows. They prefer the shouting, the jumping, the screaming. No. We're not doing that here. So I hope I am speaking to your heart, speaking to your soul. I hope that I am igniting the fire under your feet to do for your community. Many people are suffering. Excuse me. And there is no middle class again. We all suffering. We all suffering. Right? We have to still find the monies to pay for everything when everything has increased by 2,000%. It is a very dread time, and I have to be realistic, and I have to be honest with you. Now, we are going to take another coffee break, and I will be right back with you.
If it were a perfect world, I would never leave my seat. My fingers would do the clicking. My card would do the paying. And if it were a perfect world, my items would be sent hassle-free from this location to me via air or sea. And if it were a perfect world, in this one building would be warehousing, stress-free customs clearance facilities, and island-wide delivery. Fortunately, the world is that perfect because I've chosen West Indies Shipping, the leaders in imports, exports, clearance, and deliveries for over 20 years. Call them West Indies Shipping, telephone 459-0444.
And we are back. And my people, I am just sensitizing you to the issues we have there. And I know many of you are aware of the issues. And food banks are trying to meet the demands of people wanting food, because it wasn't like that. When you find your people are searching for food, and lately, I'll be honest with you, I meet a lot of people asking for food. I meet a lot of people asking for food. They're not asking you for money. They're asking you for food. And I think this is something we really, really have to look into. Now, I know we have been saying, and I got an aha moment with this. I know that they have been preaching to us to grow our own food, grow this, grow this. Not everybody can grow. Not everybody can grow crops, vegetables. Not everybody can do that. Some may be able to do it, but not everybody can. So we have to ensure that we are not turning a blind eye to people who really need our assistance, to people who really needs our help. And I am going to show you another video, food banks trying to meet demand.
This gives me a workout for the day.
It's almost more food than she can carry, but Michelle Reining and her team at Food Runners know it's just a start. The organization uses app technology to donate surplus food from local businesses to organizations throughout Vancouver.
We're seeing a real need across the city. Over 1 in 10 households are food insecure right now. So we're doing as much as we can.
Today's donation comes from the meal kit delivery service Fresh Prep, which began working with Food Runners just last year.
The less we throw away, the more we have, and the better we use it, the more there is for everyone.
Food Runners is a completely voluntary service that runs on donations. Last year, they donated over 700,000 pounds of food, but a lack of dedicated funding has them running thin.
Economically, as a country, it's not the best time to be fundraising at the moment, right? So yeah, it's not the easiest right now.
Before Fresh Prep was giving away their produce to organizations like Food Runners, it would end up in waste bins like this one and straight into the landfill.
This food systems researcher tells CBC that while food insecurity typically affects racialized Canadians, the rising cost of inflation means more people are now turning to food banks and other charities for help.
People that go to food banks, many of them actually have multiple jobs. Universities are actually increasingly establishing food banks within their own campus.
Soma says more funding is needed to address the larger systemic issues that contribute to food insecurity. Last summer, Food Banks Canada reported that an estimated 7 million Canadians are eating less food than they would like because they simply can't afford it. For now, organizations like Food Runners will continue trying their best packing up boxes of food, knowing it's more than they alone can carry. Yasmin Kandam, CBC News, Vancouver.
Now imagine that you listen to this video I showed you, and they are saying that Canadians are eating less food, not because they want to, but they cannot afford it. Again, they have a place where they can run to subsidize what they don't have. In St. Lucia, we don't. If I don't have anything to eat, all my food, everything finished, I don't have food to eat, I cannot say, well, okay, there is a food bank. I call it pantry, but they call it food bank. That there is a food bank, up the road. Okay, I can take a walk. I can go and get some rice, some peas, some tuna fish, garlic, onions, some tea, a box of juice, something that can tie me down for the next 2 days. And as I said before, crime increases when people are hungry. You'll find fathers who never steal will go out there and try to steal to feed their children. Jobs are scarce, money is scarce, resources are scarce. This is why we as a community, we as a people, and there's nothing like middle class, you heard it. People with their good jobs, everything, and everything crash. We are a small community and we should be looking for each other, because I remember growing up, everybody checked for everybody. You would get a hand of green fig. Somebody would say, oh, I got some fish. I bring some fish for you or something. Does this still happen? My neighbor yesterday gave me some lovely lettuce from her garden. But do we really check for each other? Do we really love each other? Because if you love yourself, you're going to check for other people. And it is just very sad to know that many people have nothing to eat. It's a fact. I'm not lying to you. It is a fact. You may see somebody on the street walking and they have nothing to eat. And you'll say, how come this person don't have anything to eat? They will not tell you, because many times people gossip, like I said in my little flyer I showed before. Instead of being negative, helping the person would be more productive, they prefer to be negative. It is a fact. And St. Lucia, let us stop this notion. We're not a rich country, right? Many people live off loans and all sorts of stuff, credit cards. We are not a rich country. We need to be there for our brother. Being a brother's keeper is not only checking for that individual when he or she is sick. Being your brother's keeper means that you talk to your neighbor, how you doing? Do you need anything? What's up? And in the conversation, and do it honestly. Don't do it to go talk about other people. And this is why some people stay in their misery. Who can they really trust? And I'm really praying. I am really praying and hoping that I can see within, well, I cannot speak for various constituencies, but within mine, I am hoping to see that, we have this sort of thing going on, and people at a wider scale, not just doing little baskets and giving, letting people know, hey, it's okay. We don't care if you poor, middle class, in between, whatever you need assistance, come to the pantry, get something to eat. And those who can afford, while they take, you put back, you bring to the pantry. It's a movement. We have to try. And if we try, we should be able to get funding. I know there's a lot of funding for stuff like that, right? They love to fund programs like that. I hope you were able to understand what I'm saying tonight. I hope you were able to realize that, it was a mellow tone, and for us to really do introspection of ourselves and what we need, how we can make things better. Because if you have people within your constituency or within your community saying to you as a neighbor or somebody they see, I'm hungry, I need something to eat, we should be able to do something about it. We should be able to help them. Let us ask ourselves, and let me say something to you. The people who give the most are the people who don't have much. I will say to you again, the people who give the most are the people who don't have much. And it is very, very, very important to assist. Now, I just love being with you all. I think 2 days is not enough to be with you all, Just kidding. Y'all want to see me every day. It takes a lot doing a show like that, if you don't know. It takes a lot of planning. And let me leave with you for the weekend. Because, my weekend starts on Wednesday because you won't see me again until Monday. But let me leave with you for the weekend. Try to give somebody within your community something that they can go cook. It could be a pot of rice and tuna fish. Little is much when God is in it.